Hello, everybody, and welcome to our brand new podcast, 1v1, our interview series here on Boss Rush Games. I'm Corey, and of course, with me, as always, is that retro code, Eddie V.
Hello, everybody.
Ed, how was your
Yes.
holiday? We're just gonna, take a quick trip down holiday lane here, since the holidays are ending and the new year is upon us, and just kind of, how have you been since we haven't really been recording our normal shows for the last couple weeks?
Holiday has literally been good. Just preparing myself for 2020. Grabbing games galore, I should say.
Same.
But thinking of some pieces that I'm going to be writing soon. And
Same, actually.
yes.
I actually just wrote for the first time in like 2 years. I just found out. I went back and looked at all of our old stuff, and I did the my top 10 games for 2019, and it was the first thing I've written since my top 10 games of 2017. So.
Yes. Yes. And I'm preparing for more episodes of Optional Opinion. Going to be getting back into solo podcasting because it's been a couple of months that I haven't been able to do it. But really looking forward to 2020, planning things out and stuff.
It's my fault, everybody. It's my fault. Optional Opinion hasn't been going up.
No,
because I've been keeping Ed busy. It's my fault.
Actually, I am also getting ready to go. By the time you guys hear this, the Undertale concert is coming to Chicago, so I have tickets. Or I have a ticket, so I'm going to go see that concert. Funny thing is, I literally just started Undertale, and I'm like, I need to finish this before this concert.
That's funny.
Yes, but I am going to be meeting some other podcasters, some people from close who live in Chicago or close to Chicago. I'm going to be meeting up with them. I podcasted with them before. So I can't wait. There used to be host Simon's Cake, and they may be coming back, depending. I don't know. But I'm gonna go meet two of the hosts there and hang out with them. So we're gonna eat and go to the concert. We literally got tickets to sit by each other, and I'm super excited. I'm super ready.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just gonna be back to work and doing everything and getting all these new shows prepped and this is kind of like a episode 0 for this new thing we're doing. I mean, I've been buying and prepping the backlog challenge for 2020 because I'm actually going to try to participate this year.
Yay!
Because last year was really busy, and I know this year is going to be busy too. But I'm going to make time for games. Like that's like there's a couple things on my 2020 New Year's resolution list, and one is to play more games that I already own before I purchase anything else. I do have like 3 games on my list that I'm going to probably buy in the next 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
But 2020 is going to be primarily getting through backlog stuff and playing games that I already own before the monster that is the Xbox Series X comes out this fall.
Yes.
And I'm also saving for a new TV, which I'm very excited for. So a lot of things going on here. But speaking of new shows, this is kind of episode 0, the groundwork for 1v1, our interview series that we are going to do. We're going to try to put out an episode every other week. Every week would be ideal, but every other week, just so we can get guests and stuff. Our first few episodes are actually going to be interviewing our series of hosts. So Ed, myself, Jesse, and of course Ray, just to get a feel. They're going to be about 45 minutes to an hour, just little interviews on, kind of our gaming history, like how we got into stuff, what we're doing, like why we like doing it, that kind of thing. Just kind of like a natural interview / discussion podcast type thing. And it's going to go up on the Boss Rush podcast feed. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is a good idea. Like, I think it's a thing that I want it to, if we have guests on the show, right?
Yes.
whenever we have guests on the show, they get like a 30-second spiel to like dump their product or their podcast or their content, right? Like,
Yes.
this is more of a interview series where they can expand on what they're doing and what they hope to accomplish. And I hope that them kind of sitting with us and explaining more and just having a conversation with us, people get to know their personalities more. People get the vibe of their content and stuff. And I think it'll be good to not only promote their content, but, you know, collaborate in the future on videos or podcasts or something. So that's the idea. We'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well. You know, and like I said, Ed and I are going to be the first 2 episodes, and then Jesse and Ray will be the second 2. And then we have a couple guests lined up for a few more podcasts as well. So hopefully we'll be able to pump these out every other week. We're gonna try to work it in. So
Yes.
Are you excited for this, Ed? Because like we kind of already talked about it, where, you know, we kind of specialize in different things when we podcast. Like for me, I really feel like I'm better at producing the show, and like like I've always, ever since I started podcasting, I always said I'm a better Robin than Batman, right? And I think, you know, the way we podcast and stuff, you've always been like your strength is hosting and keeping the show entertaining and flowing in a way, you know, and that's kind of where I see this show also going.
Yes.
So what do you think? I asked you and then
No.
I just kind of interrupted you right away.
No. I see this as learning and not exposing, but expanding people's horizons to new podcasters, to new content, to new discussions and topics. You know, sometimes we see a person who's just a streamer, or we see some people do YouTube videos such as writing. It would be good for our listeners and our viewers to see more of that content creator or that team on the work that they do, so that they could go and support them also, while still supporting Boss Rush. Just getting a lot of opinions and views on things. Like I think this one-on-one is always good. You know, it's a time of hanging out, but like really having good in-depth conversations and learning about someone else. Because, you know, there's a lot of podcasts around the world, and, you know, not saying that there's a lot of competition or anything, but there's a lot of podcasts around the world that might pique your interest, and we want to bring that to the forefront for people to see and hear.
Yeah,
So
and like
I'm excited.
That's always the initial idea behind guests, right? Is to help them get their stuff out there. But like, I think that and on paper it sounds better this way, but like in my head, it's like this is a better way to allow you to get to know the person and allow them to get in their own flow, instead of like, you know, them kind of working in on our flow, right? Like, you know,
Yes.
we have our own cadence for our podcasts and stuff, and we have a lot of guests lined up right now. I have 3 weeks in a row where we're going to have guests on the show. So Antonio Guillen is going to be our first guest of the year. I'm very excited to have Antonio back. He's a great dude. He's going to do a 1v1 with us sometime in the near future. You know, and Jesse's reached out to a few podcasts that he listens to, and I know you've reached out to a few. So we've got an arsenal of guests lined up for this, and I hope, you know, it turns out how we kind of think it's going to go in our head. You know, everything always looks good on paper. I just hope it's a good idea, and I hope the response is good too. So, you know, like I said, this is kind of an episode 0 for this show. It's going to be on the Boss Rush Games podcast feed. We're not making a new feed for it because, you know, I think it's just better for people to get an extra episode every couple weeks or so. So,
Yes.
But I'm excited. I'm excited to learn about how people get started. You listen to these podcasts and you're just like, oh, it's just part of my weekly routine to listen to this show this day, right? Like when I'm at work, I know like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I listen to certain shows every day, right? Like Monday, I have a list of shows that I listen to. Tuesday, I have a list of shows. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And the ones I don't get to during the week, I will on Saturday mornings when my wife's at the gym, I'll watch them on YouTube while I'm playing with my kid or whatever, right? Like I'll just throw them up on YouTube, the ones I didn't get to, and it's always interesting to see where they start from. We both have very different starting points, but look where we're at now, right? Like that's always interesting to find out, and it's I hope that, people open up and give us their stories and getting their stuff out there, and it's exciting. So that's really all I had to say about this first kind of episode 0. This is kind of just like a prep show to let you guys know what's happening and stuff like that. So any final thoughts you have, Ed, before we kind of get rolling on these?
I hope everyone tune in, listen, and we want you guys to support the people that you guys hear that we interview, and continue to support us, and just like really take it in. Like the conversations are going to be good, and learning all the content creators that we interview. So yeah, keep tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, and hopefully we get people on here that, not that like I don't want to promote the small guy, right? Because like there's a lot of interesting podcasts that just don't get the exposure, but like our goal is to get some, maybe a game developer or two on and once in a while, or some hosts from bigger YouTube channels or sites, or that's I want to know those stories too. We want to have a wide range of people on the show. So and they're not always going to guest on our main shows or anything, but I think this is a good way to do that. So especially since the amount of times all 4 of us are available is very limited at the same time. So I think this is a good way for everybody to kind of get their feet wet and contribute and figure out how to do what they want to do without being constrained to this kind of 2 to 3 hour window we have every weekend. So that's also the other thing. So I'm excited. I hope people like this show. I think it's going to take an episode or 2 to really get a flow in. I mean, like Ed and I have conversations all the time that I think our episodes will be quite normal, what you expect when you listen to Boss Rush or Pow Block or whatever. But I'm honestly really interested to hear Ray's story. I know parts of it, but I'm interested to hear Jesse's mindset from when he started with us on Arsenal X. So there's things that I'm interested to hear as just someone who wants to listen to podcasts, and I'm also interested to hear our fans and friends, and like maybe a 1v1 we'll have a community person on one time, somebody who doesn't even do anything, just wants to come on and has a little bit of free time and just wants to talk about games or how they started playing games or that kind of thing. So so that's going to be 1v1. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and our first episode, when you hear this, will probably go up next week, and then it'll be every other week from there for now. And if people want to guest, we'll throw them up every week. I don't know. But the goal right now is to do it every other week. Hopefully you guys are excited for 1v1. I'm very excited for it, and we will see you next week for our first official episode.
Bye, everybody.